Welcome everyone to the Week 10 video review and our final video review for this season. In this first clip, we're going to focus on sideline and scoring play mechanics. You'll see on this play we have a broken play where the runner reverses fields and ends up going about 55 yards for a touchdown. Now both the short and deep wings do a nice job of letting the play come back to them and officiating the play all the way down the sideline. The deep wing does a nice job of beating the play to the goal line and receiving the play as it crosses the line. However, note in this play, we have two players from opposing teams that end up tangled up together beyond the goal line. We need to continue officiating this action all the way through the end of the play. Do not give up on these players, because as soon as we turn our head away from this action, that's when we're likely to miss something unsportsmanlike or unnecessary after the play. Now this is an awkward situation because the deep wing is confirming with the short wing that the play did in fact stay in bounds throughout the entire play and that it was in fact a score. So back judge, you need to be aware of this and be ready to float over and help officiate that dead ball action, as the deep wing is focused primarily on the result of the play. Remember to use your voice and, if necessary, your whistle to clean up this dead ball action. In this clip, we have a hold downfield on a receiver in which we don't have a flag. Remember to stay with our keys, and once the passing routes of the receivers develop enough, we should be able to switch to zone coverage and pick up this foul. For deep judges specifically, anytime we have an obvious foul in the open field, such as a hold like this, the flag could come from any of the deep three judges. Above all, we need to make sure we have a flag on the field anytime we have an obvious foul. As a final note, remember that anytime we have a defensive hold on a legal forward pass play in which the pass crosses the neutral zone, or if in this case the hold is so near to when the pass was released that we can't be sure whether it was a hold or a defensive pass interference, we should enforce a defensive pass interference. In this clip, the receiver at the top of the screen is clearly interfered with on this pass play. Here we have defensive pass interference for a hook and turn, and we see when we slow the play down that we have the telltale signs of the hook and turn, an arm around the waist, and the shoulders of the receiver turning. Again, let's stay with our keys and officiate the obvious. Here we have an interesting pass play in which we have a defensive pass interference that could be called on either of two defensive players. Now we do know that the pass is being intended for a specific receiver, but you'll see that not only do we have an early contact, which causes an offensive player to go to the ground, we also have a grab and restrict against another defender. The key in officiating this play is that our back judge has plenty of cushion and is not moving at the moment of impact, so he can clearly see the contact on this play. In this play, we get a hold at the point of attack, and we do have a flag from both the back judge and the deep wing for this contact. This is a nice job of officiating ahead of the play, not watching the ball carrier, and finding a matchup that can hurt us. Here we see the contact in question is what allows the running back to turn the corner and gain considerable positive yardage. As one final point of note here, prior to enforcing the penalty, we want to make sure that we stack both flags on the same yard line, so there is no confusion about what we are enforcing or from where we are enforcing it. It just creates a better optics from the outside looking in when it comes to penalty enforcement. On this play, we have a violation of Rule 941, illegally kicking the ball. You'll see that on what is intended to be a scrimmage kick play, we have a muffed snap, after which the punter then kicks the ball off the ground, which is a foul. The ball is then recovered by the receiving team and advanced. Sideline officials do a nice job of reacting and utilizing reverse mechanics, while the referee and the umpire do a nice job of pausing, pivoting, and then officiating the play from the inside out. When it comes to penalty enforcement, remember that the two options for the receiving team on this play are to either decline the foul and take the result of the play, which would be in their greatest advantage on this particular play, or they can enforce the penalty 10 yards from the spot of the foul, which includes a loss of down, and they would retain possession at that spot. Keeping with everybody's favorite kick plays, here we have another scrimmage kick play in which the snap is muffed and the ball squirts around and both teams try to gain possession. You'll see that after the play is over near the pile, we have an unnecessary hit by a member of the receiving team, and then a retaliation by the member of the kicking team. In this particular play, we need to have a heightened awareness of what causes these actions. We cannot miss the first foul. When we penalize the retaliation only, we let one player get away with the action that instigates this. Officials that are not directly involved with digging to the bottom of the pile or separating players should be watching that second circle around the pile for this unnecessary type of action. Here we get a foul for an unnecessary roughness against the highlighted player. This clip illustrates a good example of officiating competitive matchups until they are no longer a matchup that can hurt us. You'll see that the offensive player, after allowing the defender to rush past him, uses his forearm to strike the player in the back. And although it is not a combative action and would not be considered a fight, it is an unnecessary hit and a personal foul. Nice job of officiating and sticking to this play and staying engaged by the umpire. When enforcing this penalty, remember that it would be tacked on to the end of the last run when the run ends beyond the line of scrimmage on a legal forward pass play. This particular play ends very near to the line of scrimmage, and if we were to rule that the player did not gain any positive yardage, we would then enforce this from the previous spot, the spot that's going to hurt the defense the most. Our next few clips highlight targeting. As we've seen, this is a constant point of emphasis, and we need to continue to be prepared to officiate these types of plays. Every week, our pregame should involve conversation about not only the rules of targeting, but also our mechanics. In this play, our crew does a nice job of getting together after a flag is on the ground and confirming the call of targeting. This type of targeting is for contact to the head-neck area of a defenseless player, in this particular case, a sliding quarterback. In these next two plays, we have flags on the field for targeting, and the crew, after getting together to communicate, correctly decides to pick up the flag. And that's all for our final weekly video review of this season. Go out, have a great week 11, and finish the season strong. Good luck to those teams and officials that will be representing our conferences in the playoffs.